right, let's go.
Eggs.
Okay.
Lamb. Sausage.
So, what you're seeing here in this video is that years ago, anyone who knows me knows I love all things Sherlock Holmes. Like, from the BBC version of the show, the movies, Elementary with Johnny Lee Miller and Lucy Liu. I watched that like repeatedly. Even the Enola Holmes movies. Like, I love anything to do with Sherlock Holmes. And so one night, this is back in 2018, I was watching the BBC version of Sherlock Holmes with Benedict Cumberbatch. And in that show, he was hired to, there was a gentleman who he would see like a public official, some high standing member of the government. And it was like, as soon as he would look at them, he would remember that there's something about this person that I need to look up. So then the next thing you would see was him going home, and he would go down into his basement, and his basement was set up like a library. And in his basement, he would walk up to this like card catalog that he had, pull out a drawer, look for that person's name, a little index card with that person's name, and you would see him pull it out, and under their name would be like 4 random sentences or words, just random stuff. Like, it would say like John, child pornography, gambling, and on. And then the next thing, he would send them an email letter blackmailing them. Well, they hired Sherlock to find this guy and delete his files, get rid of all his files, whatever he had on these different officials, so he could stop blackmailing them. Well, spoilers, Sherlock found himself frustrated because at the end of the episode, the guy duped him, because Sherlock didn't conceive that the man didn't have actual physical files anywhere. Everything we were seeing was in his mind palace. Now, if you've never heard the term, it's actually very, very popular now. Writers, people like Jim Quick, he talks about it in his book. I forget what the name of his book is, but he also has plenty of videos here on YouTube. I did not know a mind palace or a memory palace. I didn't know that was a real thing until watching that episode of Sherlock. And I remember Sherlock was so angry because he also has a memory palace, and we see him use it several times in the show, whether you realize that's what he's doing or not. And he felt like he should have realized that that's what he was facing. So I remember saying, is that a real thing? Like, can people do that? And I Googled it that night at work. Now, at that time, I worked overnight, and I would homeschool my nephew in the day. And so I remember Googling it that night and finding all these articles on it. There's memory championships that are held like annually from people all over the world that compete, all different ages. The techniques are taught in schools in different countries. I think some in China. And I was fascinated. Like, our U.S. champion who's won multiple times, Nelson Dellis. And he has videos right here on YouTube as well. And so I was just like, wow, like, I did not know this was a thing. Now, I've always had a pretty good memory. I say it's pretty good. Like, I can remember my phone number from when I was 6 years old, and outfits I wore to school and different little things like that. Like, I can remember down to the detailed things even before 6, and on and on. And so my mind just holds on to random stuff like that, and I don't know why. So once I found out it was real, I became like fixated on finding out as much as I could about how to become a memory champ, because I actually do want to compete. And so I learned the method of how to build a mind palace. And if you want to know, I'm about to tell you what you want to do. And Jim Quick explains this, and different people explain it different ways, but I don't have their exact technique because that doesn't quite work for me the way they explain it. So I'm going to explain it to you how I do it, which is just like one step in addition to what they do. So you take a place you know well, whether it's a street you drive down every day, whether it's a mall you shop at all the time. For me, it's a place I lived for a long time. So in my grandmother's house, I explored that house as a child, so I remember it very vividly. And what you typically do, whatever you're trying to remember, you take representations of that thing or pictures of that thing in your mind, and you place it in that imagined world. So if it's a street you drive down every day, you take the things you're trying to remember and you just see them on the street as you're driving down. Like, you picture this in your head. So for me, I knew that wasn't gonna quite work. That wasn't gonna make it stand out for me enough. Like I said, my place is my grandmother's house. And I was like, I can't just take like random things I don't care about and place them in my grandmother's house. I don't think they'll stand out enough for me to remember them. So what I did to add an extra step to that was I take celebrities or movie characters, and I place them in my grandmother's house because they're going to, like, what is Beyonce doing in my grandmother's house? So, for example, the people, it's always the same people in her house when I'm memorizing something. So, in my list, I'll start with the Mad Hatter at the front door. So, the Mad Hatter, Johnny Depp dressed as the Mad Hatter, he's at the front door. Then when I step inside and look left, Star-Lord, Chris Pratt as Star-Lord, is sitting at the dining room table. On the stairs in front of me is Kylie Jenner. Then if I walk past her and look into the kitchen, there's Angelina Jolie. She's usually by the front sink or by the sink. Then at the counter is Jennifer Aniston. And at the kitchen table is Brad Pitt and Beyonce. For some reason, they're always playing chess. So whatever I'm trying to remember with them, it's like them together doing it. So if the list is like 50 items long, I just keep repeating that loop. I'll just go back to Mad Hatter and start over. Then back to Mad Hatter, add 10 more. And I just keep repeating that loop and see him with all the things that I've said. And when I do it like this, I can call that list backwards and forward usually because I've tested it. But after the first time of me doing it, I did it the first time that night, sitting there Googling it at work, finding out it was real, and then like, okay, how do I do it? I tried out a list of 20 random foods that night, and I almost screamed out loud when I was able to just memorize it and call it backwards, forward, and everything, because to call it backwards, all I'm doing is just walking back around those loops and remembering what they had. So in this footage, you will see me practicing because I haven't done this though in some years. You will see me practicing this with my niece. Now at this point, it's been 20-30 minutes since we did it. And mind you, to confuse me even further, we're doing a list of 20 random foods that she has on her phone. We had done 20 foods before that, 20 foods before that. We did that 3 times before we settled on the final time. So my point is, I had other lists interfering that I was picturing in my head. So I should have switched up what kinds of items we were trying to remember. But at the end, this is the list that after 3 previous tries, this is the list that we went with, and me trying to remember it again. And the reason we did it so many times was because the list that she was pulling up were like kind of weird and had weird items on it. So the final list, that's us practicing. And even in this footage, and I'm not trying to do it perfectly, I kept this footage because I want you to see me struggling to get certain things right, because for some reason, whenever I picture Jennifer Aniston and what she's got, I always struggle. I always struggle to remember what she's holding. And so you'll see me, but the beauty of this memory exercise is you'll also see me go before and after what she has. So I'll repeat what the thing was before that, the thing after, and then I'll kind of fumble with the things she's holding in my mind, but I can still do the list, you'll see. And so it's just showing you what the mind is capable of. Now, you might think a list of 20 items isn't that impressive, but seriously, think about the last time you went grocery shopping and you grabbed items. Could you call back that list frontward and backward of what you picked up? It's usually a little bit of a challenge because you're like, okay, wait, I grabbed this, then I grabbed that, and you might struggle a minute. So the more, what I plan to do here on this channel is I'm going to increase this list because I actually do want to compete one day, and I want it to be one day soon. So I'm going to build my number of things that I can memorize and practice this daily until I get like a significant number. Like, I want to get to at least 100, but I think to be a champ, you have to be higher than that. So I'm going to keep practicing, building, and so on. But I also want to mention that same night after I learned it, I went home the next day and taught it to my nephew because remember I said I was homeschooling him. So I had him practice, and I said, picture a video game you know well. You know the landscape. And he was like, okay. I said, now put characters in that game that don't belong there. And I had him pick 5 characters. And he picked 5 characters and he pictured them in his head. They don't belong in this particular game. And then I gave him a list of 10 items. And I think I eventually got him to 20, but 10 I know for sure we did. And once again, you might be like, well, 10 isn't that. This kid does not hold on to anything he doesn't care about. Memory wise, it's like whatever. I keep telling him all the time, you need to remember our phone numbers and different things. He does not hold on to this stuff. But he was able to memorize the lists I gave him, and I did it at least 3 or 4 times, and he would call off the list of those things because of this building his mind palace. All right, so now I said it's been about 30 minutes since my niece and I did our list. I'm going to try and call it back in order. And I may ask her about the things that Jennifer Aniston is holding. And I love Jennifer Aniston. I don't know why I can't remember what she's doing. Now, typically, I don't call out the celebrities. I'm just doing this to kind of walk you through what I'm picturing in my head. But I'm just going to do it like the first round, and then I'm going to stop. So it's 20 items I'm going to call back now. Mad Hatter has eggs. Star-Lord has lamb. Kylie Jenner has sausage. Angelina has banana. Jennifer Aniston has lemon. Brad Pitt and Beyonce have cookies. Back to the Mad Hatter. And now I'm going to stop calling off their names. Tea. Green beans or string beans. Tilapia. Juice. Darn Jennifer. She either has pineapple or shrimp. I'm going to go with shrimp. Then lettuce. Pork. Salmon. Bacon. Honey. Once again, I said she either has pineapple or shrimp. I said shrimp last time, so I'm going to go with pineapple now. Cauliflower. Rice. And strawberries. I believe that is the completed list. And I believe I got it right. But the point is, I can still remember pretty much the list in order. Now, if I really wanted to challenge myself, I'd try and go backwards. So let's see if I can go backwards. Strawberries, rice, cauliflower, pineapple, honey, bacon, salmon, pork, lettuce, shrimp, juice, tilapia, green beans, tea, cookies, lemon, bananas. Wait a minute. Did I say honey? I said honey. Bananas, sausage, lamb, eggs. I think I got that right. All right, so when I did this memory challenge, it was February 15th. Today is the 19th. And I'm going to try to see if I remember the list from the 15th because I have not reviewed it. So I might, if I miss something, I mean, it's the 19th. Now, once again, this is not a long list, but it's just to show you how the Mind Palace can be used. So here we go. Eggs, lamb or lamb chops, sausage, bananas, lemon, cookies, tea, green beans, tilapia, juice, I want to say shrimp, but it might be pineapple. I'm gonna go with shrimp. Lettuce, pork, salmon, bacon, honey, pineapple, cauliflower, rice, strawberries. I think that's accurate. So anyway, I'll be doing more practice because I really, really want to build this up, because next on my list of things to build up is memorizing a deck of cards and getting up to 20 numbers, random numbers, a sequence of numbers. So hope you like this video. And if you want to see more content like this, see me growing, maybe you want to practice it along with me and grow with me, then like and subscribe, comment below, and I'll see you in the next one.